What was it actually like to travel the American West in the 1800s? You know, if you forget the movies and the myths. Well, today, we're basically opening up a time capsule. We're using the actual letters, the real news clippings from the traders who lived and breathed this journey. We're going to see the Santa Fe Trail through their own eyes, in their own words.
And just to set the scene, this is what was waiting for them at the end of that long road. A newspaper report from 1849 said Santa Fe was so wretched that men literally shot each other for pastime. So right away, you know this isn't just a simple trade route. It's a journey into a completely different world, a wild, dangerous, and pretty much lawless new reality.
So that begs the question, right? Why would anybody do this? What on earth could possibly motivate someone to leave everything they know behind and head straight for that kind of danger? Well, the answer, as you'll see, is a powerful mix of incredible wealth and almost unbelievable risk. It all kicks off with this simple notice from 1821. William Becknell puts out an ad looking for guys to join a company destined to the westward. I mean, that phrase alone is so full of mystery and promise. It was basically a call to adventure and, more importantly, to fortune. And just like that, the Santa Fe Trail was born. And this is the reason why. $100,000. In hard currency, we're talking actual gold and silver coins. And that's what a single caravan could haul back. To put that into perspective, in the 1830s, that was a staggering, almost unimaginable fortune. This wasn't just about making a living. This was a lottery ticket, a shot at wealth that could change your family's life forever. And for that kind of money, any risk seemed worth taking.
Okay, so the pot of gold was waiting at the end. But first, you had to survive the journey itself, a 900-mile trek across the prairie. And this was a place of just shocking beauty and, at the same time, startling brutality.
Can you imagine? You've spent your life in the dense forests of the East, and then you step out onto this. One traveler called it magnificent, a rolling sea of grass and wildflowers that just went on forever. It was like seeing the ocean for the first time, a world of garden-like greenness that was completely, totally untouched. But that beauty, it could turn on you in a heartbeat. The same guy who was marveling at the flowers also described the rivers as being so salty they were abominable and completely undrinkable. He talked about nights so brutally cold that he had to watch a horse freeze to death solid, just 10 feet from his own fire. This was no scenic vacation. This was a daily fight just to stay alive. And then there were the prairie fires. You'd see this faint red line on the horizon at dusk, and then it would just grow and grow until it was a roaring wall of flame moving faster than a horse could run. One person called it a spectacle of wild splendor. But when the sun came up, all that was left was a smoking, black, desolate world of ash as far as you could see. So you're fighting the weather, the thirst, the fires, but that wasn't even the half of it. The other constant threat out there was people. You had dangers coming from outside your group and, just as often, exploding from right within it. The guy you shared a fire with one night could turn on you the next. And the conflict out here was just on a whole other level. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got this incredible story of survival. 12 traders in a desperate 32-hour running battle against 250 Comanche warriors. Absolutely epic. And then on the other side, you have two young guys, friends, who get into an argument over who shot a buffalo, and it escalates until they are literally about to duel to the death. The pressure of the trail could just snap people. But all that constant danger also created this really unique, kinda dark sense of humor. There's this one famous story about a newcomer who just would not shut up about how brave he was. So a few of the veteran drivers got fed up. They stripped down, smeared themselves with mud to look like sham Indians, and staged a fake attack on the camp. The braggart, of course, freaked out, dropped his gun, and ran for his life, proving he was all talk. It's a harsh way to teach humility, but that was life on the trail. The trail was also a magnet for some truly unforgettable characters. You gotta love this quote about a guy they called Lazy Hasty. It says, "Laziness was his study and he was really industrious in reducing it to a system." The man was so committed to being lazy, he actually worked hard at it. He became a legend out there, a perfect example of the strange and rugged individuals you'd meet on the prairie.
All right, so after months of all that, Surviving the prairie, the conflicts, the sheer exhaustion, the traders finally reached their destination. They'd stumble into Santa Fe, caked in dust, and find themselves in a place that felt like a totally foreign country.
Yeah, forget the log cabins these guys were used to. In Santa Fe, you'd walk into a home that was literally made of the earth. The walls were these thick, sun-dried bricks. The floors were just packed dirt. The roofs were so thick with earth that grass would actually grow on top of them. But inside, it wasn't rough at all. It was surprisingly cozy, with these piles of colorful, hand-woven blankets for sofas, all gathered around a warm little fireplace in the corner.
And the absolute heart of Santa Fe's social life was the fandango. Now, this was not some fancy, polite dance. This was a wild, all-night party open to absolutely everyone. You'd have the governor's wife dancing in the same smoky room as the town rabble. People smoked, they drank, and they did these crazy waltzes that were described as being like a mock battle, with stomping and yelling. It was pure chaos.
And get this, right there, in the very same room as all the dancing and yelling, was the town's other great obsession, the Monte Bank. This was a high-stakes card game where you could gamble away everything you'd earned over months on the trail, on a single hand. And then moments later, you're expected to just get up and go join the dance like nothing happened. One of the most famous dealers was the legendary Senora Toulouse. An American journalist describes watching her as this reckless American trader was just losing everything at her table. And as his fortune disappeared, she sat there, perfectly still. The only hint of any emotion was this tiny, unreadable smile that flitted like a thought conceived in a dream. And then, just as he's on the edge of complete ruin, his luck flips. He wins. So he lets it ride, doubles his bet, and wins again. And again. The pile of gold in front of him just grows into this massive heap. The entire room goes silent. The only thing you can hear is the soft slide of the cards and the clink of gold coins. He pushes his entire mountain of gold in for one last all-or-nothing bet, and he loses. It's all gone. In an instant. But does he break down? Nope. He jumps up from the table and shouts, "Wake snakes! Hail Columbia! I'm off for California tomorrow." And that, right there, is the perfect snapshot of the insane, devil-may-care spirit of these guys.
These stories of personal fortunes won and lost are absolutely fascinating, but they're all part of a much bigger story. Because this trail wasn't just a path for a few adventurous traders, it was a commercial superhighway that fundamentally changed the American West, and really the whole nation.
Places like Bent's Fort became the epicenters of this whole new economy. I mean, this one news report from 1845 mentions a single shipment of 187 packs of furs arriving. The trail had created this incredible pipeline, just funneling the vast wealth of the Rocky Mountains eastward, straight into the U.S. economy.
And wherever that much money and that many people go, politics is sure to follow. The constant stream of American traders and influence is what allowed the U.S. Army to march down the trail and conquer New Mexico in 1846. And then, just 3 years later, the people there petitioned the U.S. Congress to become a state, but they included a huge condition. They stated very clearly, "We do not desire to have domestic slavery within our borders."
And when you just look at the timeline, it's pretty staggering how fast all of this happened. In less than 60 years, this simple dirt path went from being a crazy, risky idea to the main artery for American commerce, migration, and even military conquest. By 1880, when the railroad finally reached Santa Fe and made the trail obsolete, the West had already been changed forever. Reading these accounts, these little fragments from the past, it gives us this incredible window into a forgotten world. But it also really makes you wonder, what about all the stories that weren't written down? The stories of the women on the trail, the Native Americans whose land it crossed, the Mexican citizens who saw their world change overnight. What other stories remain untold?